Okay, to get a better understanding of target aliasing and the enhancement we did, is I simply have two corridors running in parallel. And obviously there's a big discrepancy between the heights of the two roadways where we're going to have some target aliasing. Right now you can see target aliasing is not in place, but this is the current select series 4. I'm going to select the corridor and I'm going to get target aliasing, and I'm going to bring in the westbound, add it, and move it up in the aliasing list. Corridor westbound, then existing ground. Hit OK. And you're going to notice that this can recalculate. The dynamic section is going to update, and it's going to intersect to the bottom subgrade. And in Select Series 2, it used to go to the top triangulated surface. So with that, that's the behavior that you currently have today, but with this update, we'll show that next and what the same DGN would yield. Okay, now I'm currently in a development build for Select Series 4 Update 1. I'm going to select the, as I did before, I'm going to select the corridor for target aliasing. And you can see I'm simply the same scenario. Add this. I'm going to move this up in the list. And this time we're going to see, instead of it running into the subgrade, it's going to go to the top triangulated surface, in this case the top mesh, since the top mesh exists within that corridor's definition. So this way, now it's draping and only looking at the corridor top mesh to solve it when you just pick the corridor definition. This will aid in performance because it's not draping and looking for a solution for every component in your template. And as we know, some of our templates out there can be quite complex. So this matches up with Select Series 2 Roadway Designer, and this is part of the enhancement. Now the next thing I'll show is if you have a particular component you want to target, you can still alias that, and we'll show that next. Okay, we're extending on the same data set, but this time you can see that we have a large retaining wall here, and you can see the end condition is no longer picking up the retaining wall. That's because the retaining wall is a it's not included in the top and bottom mesh because it is a vertical face, and if you're making a mesh from a train model from a mesh, that's obviously going to go against Delaunay's criteria. So how do we get this end condition to actually honor targeting a component coming from a corridor, or even if it's a microstation graphic from another vertical, maybe building, or some kind of retaining wall software? So in this case, all we need to do is I'm going to just dismiss this and pull this down. You can see the 3D space here. I'm going to just make a corridor reference. I'm going to go in here and add the corridor reference to this to the corridor that's targeting. In this case, it's this corridor, and I'm going to pick the component from the other corridor. Reset to complete, and it's going to load that in there, and nothing changes as expected because I need to set up and establish my target aliasing. So I'm going to pick the target aliasing of the corridor where I added the reference to, and you can see the terrain model westbound, the component is actually showing up as the retaining wall. I'm going to add that in there, and obviously I would want to target that first, so I'll move that up to the list. If that fails, I would like it to look at the corridor top mesh. If not, I'm going to assume that it's too far away and it's going to go to existing. So I'm going to hit OK, and we're going to watch this process, and we will see that now the end condition is going after the vertical face wall that is now, and targeting that first because that's higher in the priority list. So this way you still have the granularity with the enhancements to open roads, but you get the benefits of going after the top mesh, and also the performance gains where you're draping on the top mesh of the corridor and not all the components that you may have in that corridor. So it's a double win. So that's the enhancements for the target aliasing in SS4 Update 1.